Your roadmap to the latest in auto. Welcome to Highway Herald. Today, we're shifting gears into the high-stakes world of geopolitics and defense, as Canada makes a groundbreaking decision that could reshape its relationship with the U.S. Mark Carney's rise to Canada's top office has already caused ripples, but his first major policy shift is nothing short of seismic. After nearly a decade under Justin Trudeau, Carney has taken a hardline stance against U.S. influence, rejecting any notion of annexation and steering Canada toward European partnerships for its military future. The big question: why is Canada walking away from a $19 billion F-35 deal with the U.S., and what does this mean for its future in global defense? Let's dive into the details. Carney's bold stand against U.S. annexation. Mark Carney isn't wasting any time setting the tone for his leadership. After taking office on March 14th, he wasted no time in drawing a hard line between Canada and the U.S. His statement, "We will never, ever in any way, shape, or form be part of the United States," sent shockwaves through political circles. This was a direct rejection of U.S. Senator Marco Rubio's suggestion that Canada would benefit from becoming the 51st state. Carney's blunt response? Absurd. Carney's position reflects a growing sentiment among Canadians who are determined to maintain their political independence and national identity. While Canada and the U.S. have long shared a close relationship through trade, defense, and cultural ties, Carney's rhetoric signals a clear shift toward reinforcing Canada's sovereignty. But this isn't just about national pride, it's a calculated strategic move. Carney openly warned that the U.S. covets resources, water, land, and the nation itself, suggesting that American annexation would effectively erase Canada's way of life. This kind of pointed language signals that Carney views the current geopolitical climate as a threat to Canadian autonomy. His willingness to confront the U.S. head-on marks a significant departure from the more diplomatic approach taken by previous Canadian leaders. The F-35 deal breakdown, a major shift in Canada-U.S. relations. Tensions between Canada and the U.S. have now spilled into military contracts. Defense Minister Bill Blair recently announced that Canada is reconsidering its $19 billion contract with Lockheed Martin for 88 F-35 stealth fighters, a major shakeup, considering Canada has already committed to the first 16 jets set for delivery next year. The F-35 program has always been controversial. While it's technologically advanced, the high costs and complex maintenance requirements have drawn criticism from allies. Portugal recently abandoned its F-35 plans, citing concerns over Trump's unpredictable foreign policy and potential U.S. control over operations. Blair suggested that Canada could pivot toward European alternatives like Sweden's Saab JS-39 Gripen. The Gripen's Mach 2 top speed and ability to operate from makeshift runways make it a versatile option. More importantly, Saab has offered to build the Gripen in Canada, boosting domestic production and ensuring NATO compatibility. Shifting away from U.S.-made defense solutions would signal a major shift in Canada's military strategy. While the F-35 remains a powerhouse in modern air defense, choosing European jets would reflect Canada's growing push for sovereignty and strategic independence. It's a calculated move to diversify defense partnerships and avoid over-reliance on any single supplier, a bold step toward reshaping Canada's defense future. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now let's explore our next chapter, Canada's growing interest in European defense partnerships. Canada's increasing interest in European defense solutions comes as Europe strengthens its own military capabilities. Between 2021 and 2024, European defense spending surged over 30%, reaching nearly €326 billion, 1.9% of the EU's GDP. Europe's defense industry is thriving. Rheinmetall, Europe's largest ammunition manufacturer, reported record profits and expects up to 30% growth next year. This expansion is largely driven by geopolitical instability in Ukraine and the Middle East, prompting European nations to ramp up production and enhance military readiness. The European Commission's Rearm Europe initiative aims to mobilize up to €800 billion for joint defense projects, increased production capacity, and improved coordination across EU member states. The plan includes €150 billion in loans for defense projects and relaxed European Investment Bank restrictions to support military manufacturers. Canada's shift toward European suppliers reflects this growing partnership. Sweden's Saab Gripen isn't the only option. France's Dassault Rafale and Germany's Eurofighter Typhoon are also competing for Canada's future fighter jet contracts. Choosing European-made jets would align Canada's military strategy with Europe, reducing dependence on US-built equipment and diversifying strategic alliances. This pivot signals Canada's desire for greater military independence and closer ties with European allies, a calculated move to strengthen its defense posture while reducing reliance on American defense infrastructure. Canada's defense strategy and economic impact. Canada's defense industry is a key pillar of the nation's economy, contributing over $9.6 billion to the national GDP and supporting approximately 81,200 jobs in 2022. Beyond military strength, the sector plays a major role in technological innovation and economic growth. To strengthen its defense capabilities, the Canadian government introduced a defense procurement strategy focused on delivering advanced equipment to the Canadian Armed Forces, CAF, and the Canadian Coast Guard while boosting domestic job creation. Streamlining procurement and investing in local production are key priorities. The Our North Strong and Free initiative, launched in April 2024, commits $10.2 billion over 20 years to upgrade defense infrastructure, ensuring the CAF is equipped to handle evolving security threats. An additional $9.5 billion will be used to build a strategic reserve of ammunition and scale up domestic production of artillery shells, enhancing Canada's self-reliance in defense manufacturing. Despite these investments, Canada's defense spending remains below NATO's 2% target. It's projected to reach 1.37% of GDP in the 2024 to 2025 fiscal year, with a plan to increase to 1.76% by 2029 to 2030. Canada's potential shift toward European suppliers reflects a broader strategy to reduce reliance on US-built defense systems while securing greater economic and strategic flexibility. This move could strengthen Canada's defense posture and create long-term economic benefits. Geopolitical fallout and strategic implications. Canada's reconsideration of the F-35 deal carries major geopolitical weight, signaling a broader shift among NATO allies reassessing their defense strategies amid shifting US policies. This move raises concerns about NATO's future cohesion and the balance of power within the alliance. Portugal recently abandoned its F-35 plans, with Defense Minister Nuno Melo citing concerns over Trump's unpredictable foreign policy. Melo warned that relying on American-made jets could pose risks to national security, highlighting the need to consider European alternatives for greater strategic autonomy. Canada's potential pivot toward European jets reflects a growing trend among NATO members looking to reduce dependence on US military equipment. This shift could fragment NATO's defense structure, complicating interoperability and joint operations. European defense giants like Saab and Dassault stand to benefit from this trend. If more NATO members follow Canada's lead, it could weaken American defense dominance and shift the balance of military power toward Europe. This isn't just about aircraft, it's about geopolitical realignment, with Europe emerging as a stronger player in global defense strategy. Conclusion: a new era for Canada's defense strategy? Canada's reconsideration of the F-35 deal isn't just about cost, it's about sovereignty and strategic independence. Mark Carney's rejection of US annexation signals a broader desire to carve out a more autonomous role for Canada on the world stage. Aligning with European defense partners like Saab could diversify Canada's defense strategy and reduce reliance on US military infrastructure. But there are still questions to answer. Could turning down the F-35 strain Canada's relationship with the US? Will Trump's unpredictable foreign policy drive more NATO members toward European-made defense solutions? Canada's next steps will determine whether this is just a tactical shift or the beginning of a larger geopolitical realignment. What's your take on Canada's decision? Should Canada ditch the F-35 in favor of European jets, or stick with the original plan? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Highway Herald to stay updated on the latest in global defense and auto news. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.